and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authenticity. Today I'll be playing the Take Drop Chicken. I am joined by the fantabulous, amazing, talented, beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous, lovely, do jazz hands. This is revenge.
I've done this to the me. I have been love attacked now. Huzzah! Hi everyone, it's me, Vwild, as always on the bullshit. And once again, I have my monkey.
So when last we left our heroes, T.O.C had been led into a menacing hallway with a menacing monkey in it, and informed that they had been expectant, which is good because otherwise, why were they taken from their home?
Yes. It was a consensual chicken napping. They were allowed to leave at any time. There was just a butler on the other side of the door, an obligation.
I've trapped you with the conventions of society.
Exactly! That is exactly why she used Jeeves. She could have had anyone, and she specifically chose the polite one.
TC's like, God damn, I can't yell at this one. Look at him, it's great.
He's great. He's the oldest of the sketches, as in the oldest person out of them. He's the second. He's the second oldest in the highest ranks, as in second longest there. But anyway, so yeah, we're opening on T.O.C walking into the building and Lynn staring dramatically at the frosted glass with the "I've been expecting you." Because yes, she's dramatic. She gets to be his enrichment. Have you seen her life?
I think T.O.C just like waits for more. They've said their thing.
Well then, I hope the trip here was good, yes?
Sure.
And, in fact, T.O.C, roll me perception. Roll me perception as you've come in.
Lovely. $15.
15.
Saved by the modifier.
Indeed, saved by the modifier. We love to see it. So, you do pick up a few things. For one, the lighting in this place, it's a nice... Inside this building is bright gold, the same gold as this monkey. And it does feel inviting in a sense. It's a place that is a home as well as an agency, and it is warm. And there is just this ever so faint breeze, like a warm breeze. You think there might be an AC unit or something in here. But the bit that you get is very much compounding on that corniness from earlier. The lighting is dramatic in here. It is active, so there's the frosted glass just like illuminating part of it. So she's staring out. It looks, you know those old sepia detective movies with the dramatics?
Yep.
That. Basically that.
Perfect.
And you do notice, because she has... You're signing, and you'd expect, you know, that she wouldn't be able to see you. But then you do also see just a faint turn of her head, and you do see that she's looking at you out of the corner of her eye. So she is still, you know, she's not ignoring you, even if she's being dramatic. With a 15, I think the distance is too far to pick out other certain things, besides a lot of newspaper articles are like this entire wall of pride around the frosted glass of this is a very acclaimed career. You do also notice things on the desk, like a pile of books and something at this angle you can't pick out that's rather long, that's just kind of resting across the desk, but you don't know what it is from here. You'd have to come further in.
I think they will, like, at least step out of the doorway. It's rude. And they'll be like, I'm glad that you're convalescing.
Could you say that last bit again, please?
Oh, they just said, I'm glad that you seem to be convalescing.
I don't actually know that word. Me, the Vwild. I
Oh,
can't remember it off the top of my head.
to convalesce after an illness is to get better and regain your strength.
Ah, Lynn would know that one. And so there is just there's a wave of one of our hands just like, I bounce back very well. But thank you for your concern. I am as hale and hearty as can be. Anyway, would you
Good to hear.
mind taking a seat?
What size is the chair?
There's her big chair on one side, very plush, nice chair. There are two chairs on the other side, which are how tall's T.O.C again?
T.O.C is like it varies dramatically. But I think today they're like I want to say 1.5 feet. It's hard to it's one of those things that's very hard to tell in advance how tall they're gonna be at any one moment. You're going to see if she managed it or not.
I'm just checking one thing real quick. So I hope you know I just looked up the average height of a chair. So the chairs are a bit taller than you, like about 1.8 feet.
Would they be able to see the top of the desk from the chair?
Yes, when they come all the way in, like there's the foyer, and then there's the main room, and within the main room, at the back of the main room, there's the desk with the chairs. So yeah.
Put a book on top of the chair, sit on the book.
Roll me perception, because it's as you come in, there's probably you have to jump to be on top of the chair, right? So roll me as almost there's that moment as you jump on top of something that you don't see it, right? Alright, so nice, 24. Okay. So, T.O.C, you've made your way in. You've seen the chair, you've angled, you've jumped, and as you touch down, it's almost like the perception slightly changes, and now you can see on top of the desk perfectly. And as you look down, the chair's pillow has gotten plusher and bigger. And it does feel like it's the same chair. You know it's the same chair, but it does feel taller. Out of character, network, adjusting heights of things to make sure everything's accommodating. This is an accommodating household. Network likes making sure people have everything they need.
They are aggressively ADA compliant.
Exactly. This household will comply to anyone that it likes. If she likes someone, they're gonna get everything. If she doesn't like them, she's going to, but she's also going to be a shit at other points.
Fair. But yeah, T.O.C, just kind of potatoes on the chair. It's a very nice chair.
It is a very nice chair. And Lynn takes a seat, just shifts, and so she's sitting in her big chair and wheels it around so she's facing you, hands on the desk. And yeah, as she does so, yeah, you're now able to see on the desk, and I'm not going to make you roll for it, that is a shovel on the desk. That is a shovel. Little bit of dirt on the end. just a tiny bit. Recentish. You know gardening. You are a gardener. Yes.
Like T.O.C. looks up at Lynn we're doing this traditionally.
Indeed. Now,
All right.
part of this will be done indoors, I'm sure. And do you have any problems with holes?
Preferably not in me, but
yes.
otherwise no.
Yes, it's preferable not to have holes in you. That is called, well, we do all have a hole. It's called our mouth. We're not going to go into the details of any other holes. But yes, preferably we don't like holes, and that's called a medical situation. However, if there were perchance a 6-foot hole in the back garden,
Mm-hmm.
well, there is one currently there, I will say. However, if this conversation were to go sideways, I'm just saying here and now, a 6-foot hole is not the way to deal with things. You scatter, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I hope we don't have to go there. But I'm glad that the travel was well. I know you've already had tea and seeds, so would you like further one, or are you satisfied?
Thank you, but no.
Of course. So, I guess we get down to the brass tacks, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And she does just look at you, and it's kind of a menacing look, but in the way that someone smiling is menacing. It doesn't feel as though it's an active threat, though. You do just get the idea this monkey has spooky vibes. This monkey likes spooky vibes.
Spooky vibes. Yes, good.
She's a spooky monkey. She's got ever so slight eye shine. She loves her eye shine so much.
It's what she deserves.
She does. She just goes, so, I heard from Juniper recently that there's a engagement underway, eh?
They immediately look displeased as punch, and you know how when you say something that someone really, really loves, they will do an involuntary smile. They do that with their entire body. They get fluffier.
Aww. And Lynn doesn't show anything out, doesn't visibly show anything, because I think, what's her passive deception again? Yes, 24. So there isn't anything. However, she is just internally just going, yeah, that's pink and precious. That's pink and precious.
But yeah, T.O.C. will be like, yes, I'm glad that she's been by to tell you.
Indeed, it was marvelous to hear. Although, the interaction that led to this engagement, would you mind repeating it for me, just so I know I've got it right?
Oh, of course. So we were on a cruise full of villains trying to rescue a mutual friend of ours. I'm sure you're familiar with Toonkind. Yes, he was kidnapped. And of course we needed a distraction.
Indeed.
So Juniper got really drunk.
Which is, it's always an interesting start to a story when that happens.
They look a little bit grim. Juniper does not like getting drunk. And the rest of us were like, what's the most diverting thing that you can do on a cruise other than a public proposal?
This is out of character. This is just me just going, oh my god. We love to see
So,
it.
hmm?
Lynn just nods and just goes, alright, that makes sense. In a fashion.
So someone had a ring pop that they had eaten, and someone found some ice that would melt and some glue. Um, and so the other part of the plan, the part that Juniper got drunk for, was to start a bar fight. So we did that, and in the middle of the bar fight, I proposed. And their expression is even, but there is an undercurrent of like, yeah, this is really how I did, one of the pivotal moments of my life, all right. But like underneath both of that is just this like bone deep delight. Like it's, as time goes on, it's harder and harder to get embarrassed over. They're just so happy. They are so happy.
Mm-hmm. Lynn is just looking at that, and honestly, she already liked this chicken. She's not gonna lie. She already liked this chicken from what she'd met with them and from what Juniper's said. And seeing that kind of reaction, it's just like, yeah, she's gonna be a bit of a menace, but she can't go full menace because that's just a chicken. That chicken is in love. That chicken is in love.
The chicken is in love. The chicken is in love would be a wonderful band name.
It would. It absolutely would. We'll put it under another pen name, and it'll be our nest egg for the future. But Lynn does just nod, and you do actually see, even though she is a very deceptive person, you do just see the lines at the corners of her eyes just slightly deepen just a little bit as she smiles, just faintly. I would say roll me insight. Roll me insight.
Oh wait, that's on my cat. Okay. 19.
19. With what you know from Juniper, like, there's probably pictures, at least one or two pictures that Juniper has of Detective Goldie, which is a way that you knew who this was.
T.O.C had to be told not to call her Detective Goldie.
But that Toon did look distinctly younger than the person you're looking at now. Like, if you looked at this person before you, you'd go, yeah, that's someone in their 40s. Mid 40s, probably? Just the lines that are around her eyes, they're laughter lines and stress lines and things in between. And this Toon does look old, even though you're not sure whether she would have normally, or perhaps would have a few years ago. This Toon grew up. This Toon's grown up and is a mature Toon now. But you do see a warmth in those eyes. Like, there is a warmth towards you, even if she is keeping up the menace vibes. You can tell you've slightly, ever so slightly, won this one over already, even as she's going menace mode. I admit that's a rather eccentric beginning to everything. But we're toons, honestly.
They kind of look at you oddly when you say that. Sorry to cut you off. I apologize.
No, it's alright. You do get a slight eyebrow raise.
Oh, I mean, a proposal isn't the beginning. It's a continuation if you do it right.
Well put.
It was batshit, I'll agree.
I'm going to roll off of that 19 you got. T.O.C, you have successfully passed a tiny little test, you think. Of the way Lynn phrased that was intentional to see how you'd respond.
Mm.
It is a continuation. Perhaps a new chapter would be a good way of putting it. After all, it's a significant step for you both.
Hang on, let me roll something.
Hmm.
That's into a -1.
That's a one.
T.O.C fails to hide the fact that you're getting them hyped for their own wedding. Like, just, you keep talking about it, and we're talking about Juniper, and they're thinking about, like, marry Juniper. They get to marry Juniper. They get to marry Juniper. They get to marry Juniper.
She acted.
But also,
Oh, sorry,
they can tell that this took a lot of time and energy to put together. So they're trying to sit through it so they can be threatened.
There is a slight shake to her shoulders, just an imperceptible one, as she just internally laughs. All right. I am going to be professional on this, as this is a shovel talk. I do have to check in because Juniper is a wonderful person and someone I treasure deeply, someone we both treasure deeply. Yes.
Absolutely.
I must ask, how much do you know of Juniper?
We spoke about her past a little bit before, probably the night before I proposed. I know that she has very good reasons for being in the situation that she is. I know that this is not the first. They I think they with that -1 = 1. They are you see on their face just this they're thinking about what they know of Juniper's first relationship, and categorically they cannot understand how someone would ever be dumb enough to cheat on Juniper. Like, how do you fuck up that badly?
It's inconceivable to decent people how you would do that. Look at her!
I don't think they say that, but they are just how? What? How?
Alright.
The fuck?
How the cluck? Listen, I love bird puns so much, okay? I had to.
Yes.
But Lynn does just nod and go, alright. And given everything with the villain ship and the name used, you are aware of that side of things as well.
Yes.
All right. I'll admit, back when you first met Juniper, or when things started going down, I was surprised how much you were told and uncovered. How many walls were let down?
Mm.
At first, honestly, I was thinking of a far more menacing approach to everything, because you could have been a threat to Juniper.
They nod.
What are your intentions from here?
There are lots of people in life worth dying for. You could say that I'm sort of built in order to die for people. Um, Juniper is the one I would live for.
Roll me another insight if you like.
Sure. Keep scrolling away from the I need to stop using my mouse as a stim toy. That's the problem. 16.
16.
That is good.
With that, I'm acting like Lynn's poker face. I kid you not, the lowest it can get is a 19. However, I am going to give you things, even though Lynn is someone who is naturally secretive. You do see when you were talking about being built to die for people, that sort of stuff. She'd actively slightly narrowed her eyes. And where her hands were clasped on the table, there was a slight, almost clench. But at saying you'd live, there is a slight relax at that. She just goes, Inkwell has a great deal of martyrs. And after all that Juniper has been through, she deserves people in her life, not stories from the past, not eulogies, not people who are already gone. Being willing to die for people, I understand that. You and I both walk that path, although you've dabbled in the more extreme parts of it directly. But I'm glad you're choosing to live.
You're good. Sorry. I keep thinking you're done talking. The T.O.C would not interrupt.
Yeah. The problem of Lynn, she talks slow sometimes to get points across.
You know what? We're having a in real time conversation across a fucking planet. Like,
yeah, it's incredible.
Sometimes you just take the miracles of technology and you like them.
Yep. But she has stopped talking now, and she does just look at you.
She will not mourn me. It's You're aware that I've died before. I do it relatively frequently.
How many times?
They count. They put a finger down, they put a finger back up. 1, 2, 4, 5. Damn it. You're taking a suspiciously long time with this, but they're going to round to 5.
You've been at the train station with a ticket many times.
But and the majority of that has been while I've known Juniper. it is different. It's different dying when you know that there's someone whom leaving is non-negotiable. It's just not on the table.
Indeed. I'm glad. Oh, sorry, you go.
They say I've sworn on the most solemn oaths that I can take that Juniper will not mourn me, and I intend to hold those to the best of my ability.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that there's growth in that. Times are complicated nowadays. What you've come into this year you've been with us, Anquil's definitely gotten darker than I recall in my years as a detective. A lot of plot convergences, perhaps. People in the limelights. However, it's good that you've found a reason to keep coming back. And I will say I hope there are other people as well, as living for one person is good, but I hope there's not a complete dependency.
They, like, one of their wings goes to their hammer space, and they stop themselves. But they I think they nod very solemnly, and as much as they want to, they do not take out the pictures of their kids. They have lots.
Lynn kind of sees that, and T.O.C, from your insight and stuff, you get a look in her eyes which is basically the equivalent of a handshake. you know from that look you have found a fellow with a distinct amount of wallet photos. And she just goes, we can gush about such things afterwards.
Agreed. But no, even if I didn't have Juniper, I have other drives.
I'm glad to hear. We all need bonds in life. Bonds and connections. Some are harsh ones, some are unwilling ones. Those we try and mitigate, but the good bonds, kith and kin, family and friends, even good acquaintances. There are a lot of reasons to live and to survive and to keep going. And I'm saying, probably if you ever were to break Juniper's heart, quite a few of those would be after your head. You would definitely deserve the worst. And I admit, you've already said you died. And she does put her hand on one of the books that she has at her side. And T.O.C, as she does so, your eyes do go to it. It is a cookbook.
I think that's the one thing that's like, hang on. Okay. Okay, at 12, they're fine. If you want, you can roll insight even so.
I kid you not, I don't think she can roll that low.
Fair enough.
That is an 11 plus insight is All right.
Oh, by the way, that wasn't a deception. That was a wisdom saving throw.
She'll still roll insight just to see.
Yeah.
Insight. So she could roll low, but she hasn't. She's 11 plus 6.
Fair enough. Um. Yeah, like I think that like they certainly don't want to draw attention to this, but like there was a tiny uncomfortable shift in their demeanor uh in that they're very much suddenly like, oh, okay, that's a trigger. How am I doing? Am I doing good? Okay, we can continue.
Lynn, seeing that, she just goes, one moment. And she takes the books and she puts them underneath the desk, just like closes the desk, and there is a click as something shuts. This is a talk among fellows. I will not threaten such things again. I wouldn't go through with it, if anything.
Appreciated.
If anyone ever does threaten such things, direct them my way.
Thank you.
You don't have to say anything.
I truly am fine. Thank you, though.
Indeed. I get it. In different ways, I get it. But we shall move along.
You were threatening things worse than death.
Indeed. As a detective, you might have heard of me as the detective. I am quite well known between households. So I've seen...
Sorry.
Oh?
I'm sorry. I'm like... Just the tone in your voice, and like, you might have heard of me as the detective. I'm quite famous.
Yes.
Like,
well,
I'm just imagining her, like, sort of preening to herself.
It's not quite preening, but it's the kind of expression on her face isn't even a "you've heard of me as though I'm famous." It's stating a fact.
Because I love her so much.
She was quite literally, for a decent time before we got the AI server, the only detective anyone actually knew. She started off like engineer levels of this is a singular.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, she is quite frankly delighted that there are now more, and she's very happy about that. She's not saying it here, but she is so friggin' happy about that. I've dealt with a lot of things, both the benign and the incredibly high stakes. Apotheosis was one of them. But I've seen such a vast range of things. I could probably replicate a few if you were to do anything untoward. Just so we're clear on that front. All right?
Understood. I mean, it's like they look slightly frustrated. I really am disappointed with the general attitudes that death is the worst thing. Oh, like, obviously avoid it, but like if you want to intimidate someone, like at least start with burying someone alive and go from there.
Burying someone alive, they can dig their way out of pretty easy. I should know.
But they look at her like,
Listen, I said my genre. I mean it. I have been through some wild shit over the years.
Understood. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. But I can ruin reputations. I can do a great deal to people that makes them wish they were dead. But I don't want to. I don't choose to do that. Cross one of my connections far enough, and you might force my hand, but quite frankly, I don't think you're the sort.
T.O.C. privately, what reputation?
Leonard,
I am a chicken.
Leonard, find one. See this chicken? I want their reputation obliterated. Boss, it's a chicken. I don't care.
The librarian who yelled at T.O.C. just like, ah, okay.
Just, I'm not going to lie. I can do I can do a terrifying shovel talk, but I do actually think I like you. You've got moxie.
Thank you, as to you.
But you've got a lot of people in your corner, as you are looking out for a lot of people. You have already found family the other people that Juniper knows, yes?
As many of them as I have met.
Good. And well, I'm sure they all like you from what I've seen in the file I have for you. Mm-hmm.
I am very lucky.
That you are. Alright. And what skills exactly are you bringing to the family? What exactly are you bringing for Juniper, eh?
I break things. Many things.
Mm-hmm.
With prejudice. I'm also a very good gardener.
Ah, that's good.
I am learning. Like, they like, what are they good at? I'm sorry, I cut you off again.
You are good. This chicken CV. Good at breaking things. Good at gardening. Good at making things. Good at being an excellent loaf.
They're just like, I've gotten much better at reading. I'm learning to crochet. I am learning celestial.
Oh.
Like, they're just like, just random, like, what can they do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can scream very loudly. I can, like, they will go on.
Lynn's gonna let them just go on. Just she's liking this, okay?
They're like, I'm very warm and huggable.
That is important. That is very important, especially for Juniper.
I am happy stimming thinking about my partner. And so T.O.C. is happy stimming thinking about their partner. But they're also very much trying to play along with the shovel talk. They're trying so hard. Lynn went to a lot of trouble for this.
And you know what? Lynn is seeing that and going, you know, would you like to spend a few minutes gushing about your partner? I think
I would like to spend a few minutes gushing about my partner.
I think that is an important part of the shovel talking process. We must see how much you love your partner, because that is a wonderful thing to see. So, here is your interview. Give me your case.
They immediately launch into, like, a story about, like, peak Halloween Juniper in all of her glory. Like, they will just, like, congratulations, you have just discovered how sign language can be a wall of text.
Are you kidding? She gets files from Jeeves that are meant to be a page long and gets them entire tome thick stuff on reports. She knows how this happens. He's so professional until he's giving a report, and then it is. If you could subtitle it, the entire screen would be white. She is used to this.
Oh my god.
So She full on, as she'd said, like, give a case, she'd clapped her hands together and then she slightly leaned back and she's just watching you go off. And
Mm,
there is something very pleased in her eyes.
mm. At this point, I don't think T.O.C noticed. They're just like, I get to talk to about Juniper and all of her Juniper ways. Like, if eventually they will also tangent into this cool thing that Crystal did the other day, this wonderful thing that Seeker said the other day. Like, I think they come back to Juniper over and over again just because like she's their partner. She's this overwhelmingly positive presence in their life, and there's so many stories that they have about her. But like it's also interspersed with like Marigold, Crystal, Cassie, like
Can I just say something that makes me absolutely high-key amused? Every person you've mentioned is someone Lynn already knows.
Wonderful. I think there's also allusions to quote the other co-parents, who she will know as Scribbles, Arrows, the Professor, and T.O.C. They are the Fellowship of the Wrens.
Just
They're just like.
she does. Yeah, that's not a fumble, thank God. Last game she was in, she fumbled 5 times.
Oh no.
In a row. But just does pull out like a little notebook, and as she's watching you and she is writing these names down, or you assume they might actually no, you're rambling, you don't know. She's writing in code and she is just writing all the names down. Just yep, she knew a lot of these. She's got files. She's having a great time. Just...
Yep. They're also like low-key dyslexic. So like
good to know. Makes sense.
It varies with their emotional state.
Yeah,
but
they're a chicken. They're a chicken who just learned how to read this year.
Yep. And they're just like, God, they're like, they'll be here for several hours. Like, congratulations, you've unlocked special interest, people I love.
Which, congratulations. Lynn will sit through all of it utterly delighted. Probably even, like, asking a question every now and then to clarify something and basically have you go off even more. She is an active listener and she will be keeping this conversation going. You will at some stage just find tea in front of you because she knows what this kind of talk does to your throat. You don't know how the tea got there. It just did.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Just as it winds down, there is just a nod and just. I think that is very suitable. I think all of this. I think this is a good statement. You've got a lot of love in your heart.
Say again?
You've got a lot of love in your heart.
Well, I don't know about that, but I have people worthy of giving it to.
And you're worthy of it in return.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you go. You go.
I have a question for later. But right now, what is Detective Stagehand's like passive perception?
22.
Okay. I will resolve that a little bit later.
Fascinating. I have thoughts on this.
But please, I am so embarrassed that I keep cutting you off.
No, we love to see it. We can't see each other's faces. That's always the tricky part. You can't see people's faces. But she just goes,
This is fair.
"You are definitely worthy of a lot of love and a lot of care. And I'm glad you have such connections that you can talk about and know that they talk about you in return, I'm sure."
Mm. All T.O.C is giving me is just happy stem. Happy stem.
And she does nod, and then she just goes, "The point of a shovel talk, there's lots of different ways a shovel talk can go about. Some old dated ways are about giving blessing for relationships and such. I don't believe in that. It's what people choose is what people choose. I'm learning I cannot dictate such things, and I would not get in the way of such things. All I do is look out for those that are mine and make sure that there are no dangers to them, or at least as minimal dangers as possible."
I will take that under advisement. I will soon have to give my own, I think.
Ah.
I mentioned my my boy Lorem. He has found a partner named Sammy.
Sammy Jax, I presume?
I think it's I think it actually no, Into Silence isn't canon at the time. I suppose it would still be Sammy Jax. Spoilers for Into Silence. The name Jax got erased, but
I didn't know that as the Vwild.
but yeah, they nod that that kid. I found this out through the professor, who, despite his many notable qualities, is not Lorem. I am going to have a talk with that boy about communication. I will have a talk to Sammy about just the general rules of being in a healthy relationship.
I will say, Sammy, little Sammy's one of mine. Good. He's a good one. Bright one. He does his best for people. Got a few things that we're all still trying to help out with, but honestly, a real bright rainbow spark.
I'm glad to hear it. I promise not to hurt him too badly. They are 100% joking.
Very good. Because if you mess with a connection of mine, I gotta get involved. And honestly, I've been nice to you today. Usually it involves pit traps, spikes, general chaos, or the hole in the back garden. Would you like to see the hole in the back garden?
Sure. I do have one question.
Of course.
Why is it 6 feet? I'm like a foot.
Because traditionally a grave is 6 foot deep.
Oh, I feel rather. I don't think I've ever been buried. I feel kind of cheated.
Would you like to be?
Well, not right now. I'm not dead. But I've never had a grave, like a funeral or anything, which I suppose saves on expenses.
Indeed, I do suppose.
I would like to see your garden, though.
We have got a good. I have not told you about my son. My son. He is the best gardener you ever will meet. And yes, I'm even saying that with you. I treasure you now. You are officially connection through Juniper. You are a delight. I like you. I am going to show you the hole, and then I'm going to show you the garden. We have carrots. They keep getting.
You have carrots.
We have carrots. We have everything you put in chili. We have in our garden. I make chili. You've probably had my chili from Juniper. Question: do you have any requirements? Do you like meat? Or I know some I know some chickens do eat meat because that's where the rose-tinted glasses came from. Yes, I learned about that on a case. It was a wild case. God, I have a fear of pigs. But you learn so many things when you're on a case on a farm, and you don't ever want to learn those things again. But oh boy. But yes,
They look amused. I think I cannot do. I don't mind other people eating it. I can't do the smell of chicken meat, and the sight of it is also very iffy.
honestly, completely understandable. I would not want someone eating monkey in front of me. So none of the food I've ever given has had chicken in it. I would like to establish that, and I will make sure to keep it out of anything I do send in the future. You will have spontaneous food in your fridge.
Thank you. Oh, probably same to you. They pull out like a thing of tomatoes. The tomatoes are not in season. And they're just like, these are from my garden. Expect these and an awful lot of zucchini. I know you also have a garden. This is not a kindness, this is an infliction upon you.
It's called courgette. There is a hand on her chest, and you get this is an age-old battle of zucchini versus courgette.
They're like, oh, I bet you call a regular rocket, don't you?
Yes, I do. T.O.C.
Okay.
from somewhere in the house, you hear boss music. You don't know where it's coming from. Don't worry. We'll get into this. This'll be one of those fights where you and me we can have a face off on this front. We can have a food face off. I don't want to fight you in combat. I've seen you're very competent. You're wonderful on that front. But anyway, I will show you the garden, and I will always know when you deliver food. I'll know. Anyway, come see the garden, and I will tell you about my kids. I have
Yes.
so many. Oh, we have a wonderful family. I have got so many nibblings. I do know Marigold because of Scribbles, because Scribbles is marrying Silly, and Silly is the sister of my son, even though she isn't mine. And she just starts absolutely going off about all the different people she knows as she ushers you out to the garden.
Mm.
She will actually stop as she just goes to the hole and goes, by the way, this is the hole. Do you want to go inside for a bit?
Kind of.
There we go.
They hop down inside the hole.
Hey! And the shovel talk is a success because you're in the hole!
I think they spend a couple minutes just jumping in and out of it because of the type of barbarian they are. They have good jumps.
Is it
And they're
barbarian?
also just like hole. It's a hole. It's a hole in the dirt.
What kind of barbarian is T.O.C. again?
T.O.C. is Path of the Totem Warrior.
Oh.
So it's I think that the second level that they took was Tiger Totem, which like has extra jumps to it.
Nice. Lynn's a beast barbarian, which get jumps as well.
Yes.
And so she's just watching. And yeah, no, T.O.C., you see whatever menacing vibes she'd had before. No, this is Detective Stagehand in the way that Juniper knows her. This is Goldie, in a sense. Just very warm, very openly chatting. This is a fellow parent and a fellow person who is full of love for such a vast range of family.
Yes.
And you are absolutely learning all of the family. You are learning about Rai. You are learning about Sweetheart.
Oh, they met Rai.
Oh, have they met Rai?
I think so. It wasn't Rai the one who was at Crystal's apartment?
Yes, it
at the very beginning of Apotheosis. They're just like, oh yes, of course, he's very sweet.
That's my son. He's the best. I love him. He is the most wonderful of beings. He is a druid, and he's also taking levels in wizard, and I am so picky and proud of how much he's grown. He's my boy. He's even had a growth spurt. He's had a growth spurt, and he's doing amazing.
Oh.
And she pulls out so many pictures as she's saying this. This is proud parent mode.
The chicken is purring.
Yes, good. But
The chicken is just.
But you are talked through everything, and yeah, you get the feeling from this. You've been full on accepted and that sort of stuff. And she just goes. She also does just go. Our house is. We're probably gonna figure out how to get it bigger at some stage. Consume another building, that sort of thing. Have you thought of anything on your front with Juniper, seeing as you have such a large fan family?
Well, we are thinking. We're thinking of building a house. If we could possibly make it so that it's larger on the inside.
Huh.
At this point we just like n number of rooms where n is the number of people who would want to stay there. I'm told Professor has a similar setup.
Huh.
But yes.
I'll have to bump into the professor at some stage. I know distantly, I know there are a few spells, like there's Bag of Holding, obviously, which has ample space within it, kind of like a hammer space. There's some magic house spell that's temporary that can be cast that could possibly assist in that. I know a few people who help in construction of buildings. Even if I can't get you in contact with them directly, I can probably send you some notes and such. And of course, you've got your professor, so you're handled on that front.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely have to meet this professor at some stage. Time traveler, eh?
Indeed. Yes.
I'm definitely going to have to bump into them at some stage. They sound intriguing.
They are very much so.
But other than that, have you got everything in order for the wedding? If you need any assistance on anything,
that would be lovely. They look very stressed.
May I also? I know. I'm not going to lie. And she does crouch down and she goes, I'm paranoid. A lot of things have happened. I am very plot heavy. Would you mind if I have security for this for Juniper's sake?
Of course.
All right,
I would not expect anything less.
Thank you. You can verify the people I bring. All of them will be verified by me. They've all got training on defense and such. I'd probably... You've already met Mira, and Mira is fond of you, which is another point in your book. She'll probably be there, if you'd allow. All right. I'll get some stuff on that front. It's going to be delightful for you. Once again, I am so happy for you. You both deserve each other. You're wonderful people, okay? You're a good one, T.O.C.
They look inordinately pleased.
All right. Okay, so on that front, we've inspected the hole. It's a good hole.
It's a good hole.
It's a very good hole. I made it. We're filling it in now. And she snaps her fingers, and T.O.C, the hole in the ground that was there, you're out of it. She's made sure you're out of it. In fact, she might even be like, she's crouched down to be with you. T.O.C, this hole disappears.
Nice.
It just fills in immediately between 1 second and the next. There's a zoop, and it's gone. You don't know how she did that.
Fair enough.
That doesn't seem as though it's one of her spells. You don't know how she did that. This monkey has powers. This monkey magic. But is there anything you'd like to cover for the rest of all of this? I will, of course, be getting you home. I'm sure you have other responsibilities and such, and I'm not going to keep you away from your partner.
Thank you.
But other than that, I think we've covered everything. I've already learned interesting details about you. I'm going to enjoy my file later on over a cup of tea. But if you ever come into any trouble, or just want something investigated, want some help with anything, you can always contact the network, all right?
Thank you. That means a lot. And if I may be of assistance as well, you obviously know where to find me.
Indeed. I can find you anywhere, I'm sure. I am very good at my job. But other than that, yeah. I think a pot of chili for you, and I think escorting you home would be very nice. Let's get a flap on, eh? Eh?
And with that, I do have one. I have a bit of an epilogue.
Oh, we love to see it.
As would Detective Lynn watches T.O.C. Steps away from my words are going.
You are so valid.
As T.O.C. leaves the Requiem.
Yep.
Um,
It's alright. I stumble over that word as well. Bless you.
With a 22, I think that Lynn notices, like, among the trees, just like a figure sort of step away. Tall, Toon, can't make out any real details. Like, it's like an animation error almost, like something like the very end of a sequence had been had been juxtaposed into this scene. And that is all. T.O.C. certainly doesn't seem to notice.
With how Lynn does, her passive deception is higher than T.O.C's passive perception. She did freeze slightly as she saw that, because the amount of bad things that have happened with mysterious person in the background is damn high, seeing as she's literally had a god in her home at one stage that attacked her, seeing as there's the thrall, seeing as there's so many other things. In fact, she will actually check the wards, and here's where I send something to you, author, of Lynn has got active wards in her building and for the perimeter of her home, like out to the ends of the garden and such, that detect beings and can sense if there's a god present just by sheer. After someone pretending to be a normal person walks into your house and breaks your desk, you kind of have to put in defenses. Could I roll an arcana or something to see if she can figure out what exactly that was? You can say no.
Sure.
All right.
Although I will say, like, there hasn't been any presence within the Requiem.
That's good. The Requiem is safe internally. That's good.
Requiem, thank you.
Because Network's passive perception is higher than Lynn's on that front of being a 26. Okay, so Arcana, would you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Or whichever's higher.
That is a... Damn! Okay. 18 plus 6.
It's very much as if 24, man.
I will say
It's as if someone had been watching while time was stopped and didn't quite finish moving by the time, or didn't unstop time just quite, not quite late enough to cover up the rest of their movement.
You know, that's actually really funny, seeing as Lynn knows a time god now.
Fair enough.
So, as she's just looking at that, she does look where it was, and then she just goes, "You know what? I'm gonna walk you all the way back. And I need to stretch the legs. I'll walk you home, eh?"
T.O.C seems pleased.
And if she does stay a little closer, and she didn't use her axe the entire time, she does pick it up from by the door, and she does. You know how people walk with a staff or a cane? She does just have it at her side the entire time she's escorting T.O.C home. It's just a normal thing for her. She'll ponder this in the future. She's got thoughts, she'll think upon them. But congrats, T.O.C. You're good in the books! Lynn likes you.
Yeah.
You will, in fact, actually, you will, if you hadn't already, you will be given a business card. Just, it feels warm in your hand. You have gained approval. Congrats.
Yes.
Ah, that was great. All
right, I am going to stop the recording.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.